Hi, Ruchi. This is Nadia
Hi.
from Zen Onco and Love Heals Cancer. We guide cancer patients in adopting an integrative treatment approach. We help them by finding a balance between the mainstream treatment and complementary treatment approaches. We also help them by, our team of oncologists, nutritionists, lab experts, and other healthcare professionals. So the best and the most right outcome is given for the patients in terms of treatment, right? We also
Yes.
help in connecting other patients and caregivers like yourself here today, a cancer warrior, I would call you, right out there. So, who have gone through a journey, I would say. And we have Ruchi here with her inspirational story, who's going to be inspiring so many people through who are watching this video. We would like to share these inspirational stories and motivate others and bring in some kind of hope that no, you are not alone. That is the
Correct.
entire intention, right? All right. So, Ruchi, you can take it from here. The whole story is yours to tell. Please go ahead and make it yours. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nadia. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I think so. Platforms like these, communities like these, will really help people who are fighting cancer or who have survived cancer, and then they can fall back to someone. So, thank you so much for being part of such an amazing community. I'll just briefly introduce myself. My name is Ruchi Gokhale. I am originally from Mumbai, India. Uh, I was a normal teenager living my best life as a student, and I was actually in my 12th standard waiting for my board exams, really anxious about them. But life has its own twists and turns, as I may say. In the year 2012, right before my board exams in February, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. So to talk more about how I was diagnosed, I noticed that I had a small lump near my neck region. And honestly, at that point, cancer was the last, like, I didn't even think about cancer because I was like, I just turned 18 and I had like entire life not planned, but I was just like
Look
an adult
forward to it.
now.
You look
Yes.
forward.
So and and I had so many plans that I had in my mind that, oh, after my board, because I think so board exam is a huge thing here, and I think so it's everywhere. So I had all these plans with my friends. I had not met so many people because there used to be prelims and everything during Jan and February. So in my hair, I always had this thing that, okay, after April, I'm just going to party. I'm going to travel. I'm going to meet my family, friends. But I saw a lump, and that was something unusual. And I honestly, when it comes to my health, I did not had any um, prior complications when it came to health, like not even like fracture or anything. Like I've never seen hospital at all. So it was something very unusual for my parents as well. And my parents, because it was unusual, we just thought that it's better that we just examine what exactly it is. Because um, as I was consulting my family doctors, she thought that maybe it's tuberculosis because, again, TB is something that is still prevalent in India, and chances of getting TB is higher than chances of getting cancer, maybe. So we thought that, okay, maybe I have TB. And at that point, I was really like, not like, hearing about TB already made me really s- angry. But now I wish that I had TB because then the treatment would have been less shorter. But um, that's another topic. But
Hmm.
then I had a biopsy, which is a normal surgical method where you just take some substance out of that area, and then you just see what exactly it is. And I still remember the date. It was on 14th February. So uh, I had my biopsy, and for some reason, the doctors were not getting back about results. Like it took them almost 10 days to decipher, because again, I think that they also were shocked, and they were also confirming it again. So I remember they called my parents separately. I think so. They informed them, and I was home studying and like minding my own business. And my parents came home. They sat me down, and they just told me that the results are out, and I- like they are not great, and they just told me that I have cancer. So I think so that that's how my journey with cancer began.
Yeah, that's how it began, right? So that's how you diagnosed that. Okay, this is
Mhm.
what it is. How did your life change from there?
So to be honest, the moment when they told me this, I couldn't believe it, and I really thought that, am I in a movie, or am I in a film where I'm shooting a really emotional scene or anything like that? Because again, this was something very unreal, and something that I've never imagined and never thought that I will ever get. And I know, like my aunt had cancer when, like, a long time back in 2007, but that was my only that was my only encounter with cancer, and that was almost like 5 years back when she was diagnosed. But something that something of this magnitude will happen to me, and during that point of life, I honestly never imagined. But I think so. At even at this point, I will say that because of my family, my siblings, that's why I'm still here, because I think so they were very transparent with me, and they were like, okay, you have cancer now, but we will sort this out. I think so this was our attitude in whole. So, like, right from the next day itself, my dad started looking for the best oncologists, the treatments that are possible. Since I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, it is comparatively a better type of cancer because the survival rate is great. And I was at that age where I can cope up and I can take all those treatments. So like, all I could hear was positive things, that great survival rate, you are young, your body can take it, you will heal, and we all are there with you, so don't worry. So that's how it was. And as I said that I was about to give my 12th standard 12th exam, one thing that I wanted was, I didn't want to miss my year, because because I think so that was again my mechanism, that I will fight this, and after fighting this, I don't want to go through the same thing again. So I just so we met with an oncologist, and I asked him whether we can start, like, or at what stage it is, and whether or not we can start my treatment a month later, because my exams were going to get over by mid March, I guess. So thank God he agreed. That's how at least I could give my exam. And during my vacation, I was just going to one hospital to another, getting my treatment done. So yes.
Wow. It must have been, I mean, you're smiling so much and saying the story. That is one contradicting thing. But I'm pretty sure when you went through it, it wouldn't have been what you feel right now. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that the treatment, tell us about the treatment, coming to that.
sure. So just I'm just asking you, I was diagnosed again. So should I just add that in this, or should I just mention it later?
No, it's up to you. However you feel like you want to mention it later.
Okay, sure. I think so. I can just go with the timeline, and then it's just, oh, all right. So so I went through 6 and 15 set of radiation. Now, the only time I was kind of sad was when I started losing my hair. And no matter how strong you are, but and how practical you are, losing hair can be daunting. And it was something that kind of affected me somewhere. Like, my self esteem got affected, my confidence got affected, because uh, I can be strong in like I can be strong from inside, but if my body shows that I am a patient, if it looks like I'm going through it, that was something that I never wanted to portray because um, for me, it was always that people should never see me as a weak person. Uh, I can deal with my battles, I can deal with all my thought inside, but nobody should know what
Yeah,
I
the
am
thing
dealing with.
the thing is here you had no control over it. You had no
Yes,
control over the fact, okay, they will know the minute they saw you. Right.
yes. Again, and it was difficult for my family and friends also to see me like this. So even you can be very strong, but when you see your loved one losing their hair or wearing scarf all the time, that can sometimes just break you. So I think so that is one of the side effect of chemo that I do not like at all. Fortunately, during my first cancer treatment, I did not face that much of side effects. Maybe I was prepared for everything. That's why I didn't feel that, oh, like, I just felt that, okay, I already knew that these all things are going to happen. So I was kind of prepared. But again, my family and friends were always to my rescue. My chemo cycle used to be during days. Like I used to get admitted around 8, 9 a.m. and the cycle used to start and I used to be there till 6 p.m. So not a single day that they left me. My best friend and my uh, parents were always there with me. They used to always, like, we used to talk, we used to like just entertain each other. And I think so that always kept me going because then slowly our chemotherapy turned into mini picnic where like we used to literally like smuggle my friends inside because again hospital had rules that only two people are allowed or something like that. But then after a point, nurses and doctors were also kind of cool with the idea that I can bring my friends because that used to make me happy. So we used to just smuggle them inside, and then whenever if anybody was visiting, they used to hide, and all these things distracted me in a way that I never thought about the IV that was going through my body. There was always some fun element or something to look up to. And I would also mention that during such time, you meet some people that you least expect, and they just act like you just come across people magically. So I remember the hospital I was admitted in. It was in Chambur, and like my dad used to go in Sydenham, and he had a classmate there. He had never contacted him, and after like 20 years later, he realized that he stays in same vicinity, and like he contacted him, and we realized that he stays exactly opposite to that hospital. So he used to get me food, and like my parents used to visit him and take some rest while I was going through it. So I think so. There are good people for sure in this world, and if you put that energy out, you will receive it. So I think so. Things like these, and I think so. These things really influenced me and made an impact in my life right now. So yeah.
Hmm. Wow. This is just amazing to see the kind of positivity that were you're just beaming with it. And look at your lovely hair. I mean, you said you lost it, but doesn't seem like that at all.
Yeah.
Such
So I think
a
so another thing that I would like to say is that at that moment, uh, people who are going through cancer right now will feel that uh, it's over forever. But that's one thing that I always want to say, that look at me. I am doing everything that I always planned on. I think so even better because I think so when I look back, I had some other plans in my mind, but I evolved, I changed, and honestly, I am in a better place right now. So I think so. Everything happens for a reason, for sure.
amazing, amazing. Even to hear you talk about it. I mean, something that the whole of society looks down upon. You have gone through it. You have been there. You have seen what they have not seen, but they've only heard and not gone through. So when you're saying a story like this with so much of energy and so much of vibrance, and it's more of not just the energy and the vibrance, but power. He's speaking from a place of power. That is the kind of uh, energy we need out there for people going through such a journey, where they can find that mental balance of getting back. No, I am not going to succumb to this. I am
Yes.
going to fight this. I am going to do what I've always wanted to do.
Hmm.
Yes,
Yes.
that. And when it comes
So,
to, you continue.
sorry, continue.
I was just saying, I wanted to just add that, when it comes to treatments and the side effects that a person could go through, not always are everybody lucky enough. Not always does everyone have, I mean, nobody has the same journey. Everybody has different journeys.
Correct.
But but the way each person's body reacts to the treatments, reacts to the treatment plan set out for them is very different. So
Correct.
talking from that perspective, how are the doctors, how are your caregivers in the hospital? You were talking more of your family and your friends, so how are the doctors and the treatments that happened to you in the hospital there?
So, I think so. The doctor was like, I think so. After a point, you have to just rely and believe that this is something that this topic is alien to you, and there's no point in just researching things on Google and seeing whether or not that's the right thing, because in the end, we just had this that okay, they have been studying this for 20 years of their life, so I think so we should just trust them and see how it works. So I think so the doctors were 100% supportive. They they kind of used to talk. We used to have a small conversation. But one thing that always used to break my heart is the whole hospital process where when I was in the waiting area, I could see so many patients, and uh, my like the I used to sometimes takes an hour or 2 hours to meet my doctor because of the amount of patients that uh, there used to be. So that is one thing that always used to break my head. And sometimes I used to see like literally infants, like babies, going through it, and maybe after seeing them also, that also kind of motivated me, thinking that they have kids and they are going through all these things at such a young age. They don't even know what they're going through. So if and they used to always play in the waiting area, because again they had no idea what they always had one thing that I want to play, and they used to always play in the area. And after seeing them, I always used to think that at least I have this power to think, to read, and to adapt. So I think so I made the most out of it. I started channelizing more towards positive vibes. I started reading good things. I started watching things like Friends, which always used to make me smile. So that's how I changed things, and that's how um, the whole experience with hospital was.
Wow, wow, amazing. That's so great. And not only that, the way you've coped with it. You telling me exactly how you've coped with it step by step. I mean, what works for one person may not work for another person. But
Mhm.
uh, attaching yourself to positivity. Then
Yes.
again, attaching I mean, there's a lot of negativity as well out there. If you want, it depends on whether you want to go down that route or not. So
Mhm.
making that chance, making that choice for yourself is pretty much, I think, what we all need to work towards while going through such a journey. And I know it's very hard. It's easier said than done when we are sitting and talking here. I mean, you know how difficult it must have been, because every single day you must be figuring, okay, this is pulling me down, right?
Yes.
And what
So
was your lifestyle before and after?
so again, after my first cancer, I started having a more sustainable, more healthy lifestyle. Yet I was diagnosed another, like within
Right,
12
right, right.
months, I had a relapse. So it kind of shook me again that, okay, now I'm following everything. I am having a healthy lifestyle. I'm eating good food. I am looking after myself yet I'm going through the same thing again. So there was a point when I really questioned the whole thing. I questioned my belief that here I'm being this really strong person. I'm trying to inspire, motivate other people, yet the same thing is happening to me again. So there were times when things didn't work out as I thought they will. And in fact, this time, the second time that I was diagnosed, I had fourth stage cancer. And it, I couldn't believe that within 1 year, after following everything, yet I reached fourth stage. And uh, fourth stage, like fourth stage cancer, it's scary. Like, so for cancer patients, they go through a PET scan where
Mm.
you can see what are the regions that are affected by cancer. And I remember when I had my first PET scan for Hodgkin's lymphoma, my affected area was only the neck region.
Right,
But
right.
when I had my second PET scan, there was not a single spot which was not lit. So
Oh my.
that kind of gave me that I couldn't believe that that was my body after
Mhm.
following everything. So and that too, I was just again started like I just began to have a normal life again, and I started going to college again. I started meeting my friends again, and I started like hair started growing again, and then again I had this backseat again where um I couldn't believe that why this is happening to me again.
I can only
So,
imagine. Yeah.
so, uh, th- and thinking when you think that okay, now everything is past, I have survived cancer, and now nothing can stop me, and then immediately within 12 months, you get a relapse. That was shocking, and it that really hit me hard this time because then again I thought that this is this ever going to stop, or uh, I will be that person who always visits hospital, or like for a moment I thought that my life is not going to be how I planned it to be. So that's why I wanted to also mention that even I had my share of negative thoughts, my share of sadness, my share of uh, thinking that why me? But again, my family was always there, and they made sure that that thought just remained for that one day or one night. And next day, I began with new beginning. So I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma again, and since this time it was fourth stage. Fourth stage. My previous oncologist said that he referred me to another oncologist, Dr. Tapan Saikia, and I respect him the most. I think so. I am here today only because of him. Uh, since it was fourth stage, and again considering the nature of my body, it was concluded that my body tends to grow cancer cells. Uh,
Okay.
then, like my stem cells tend to just grow produce cancer cells.
Mm.
So that's why I should have a entire stem cell transplant. Now, as scary as it sounds, it is really scary. So the whole idea is that to give you chemotherapy where all your good and bad cells will be like dead, and they will initially they will take good cells out of your body, and then they will transfuse those good cells again, and then your stems then your spinal cord that organ will only produce good cells because there are no bad cells. So don't quote me on this. I'm not a science student, but this is what I have understood that they did to my body. Um, so we went to meet him, and he saw my reports, and again he was very clear. He told me everything, that this is what the protocol is going to be. You will have to take three chemotherapies, then we will take your cells out. If they matches you again, then we will transplant your own cells. Otherwise, we'll have to look for a donor. So again, there were few. complications here, because if my what if my cells don't match me, then who will be my donor, and all these things. And again, I didn't want to put my family into place where they have to go through all the pain, because the
Yeah.
getting your stem cells is a very painful process. So and then the whole transplant was going to take 30 days,
Yeah.
where you have to be in isolation, where I was not allowed to meet anyone. I was kept in a room with my mother. And um, also because my immunity was so low at that point, I couldn't interact with anyone. So that was the whole setup. And uh, as the more I started thinking about it, the more stressed I used to be, because I guess I am a very social person, and I always was surrounded with people. So just thinking of this thought of being alone in one room, where I will only talk, where I will only have my mother around, uh, was something very new to me. So and again, another thing was that all my friends were kind of moving on with their life, with their career path, and I always thought that I am really missing out on that part, the whole hustle
Yeah.
of getting somewhere, because that's the time that you always like study or crack exams or give interviews. So I always thought that okay, I'm starting everything late. So all like what I want to say is that there were so many thoughts during that point, and I was again 19 or 20 at that point. So um, I didn't have a clear idea about my life, and that really used to bother me sometimes. But that's when in 2014 or 15, that's where the whole YouTube community started to rise. And
Yes.
I think so there were hardly like five YouTube creators at that point, from India. And I used to watch few international creators, and I used to just see their random day in my life, or like really random videos, and I used to that used to just pass my time. And that's when I thought that, oh, maybe that's a great way to create a community. And during that phase, I thought that maybe after my treatment, I should come up with a YouTube channel where I can just share my journey. And if someone who is going through it just watches it and sees it, that okay, if she can survive this two times, I can. Because again, we are not different. Like, not that
Exactly.
I have any special powers or anything like that. So
Exactly.
that was the whole inspiration and whole idea behind it.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that I still get messages from other people who are just diagnosed, or who completed the treatment, and they just messaged me that I saw your video, and that really motivated me. I think so. It just makes my day. So yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. I mean, we don't just have a person who went through it once. We have someone who's gone through it twice and standing tall. Wow. I'm so honored to even be talking to you. Like, it's not a small feat that you've pulled. Let me just say that out there, you know. And what was your reaction when you first saw those reports saying that, okay, now I'm cancer free?
So I think so. There was not, and I still don't know, have those reports, because I think so. My doctor believes that we have given you treatment. It's a full proof treatment.
Yeah.
If you're not experiencing any pain, or if you're not experiencing anything else, let's just not have a PET scan again. Because even if you because sometimes PET scan can be faulty. They can show you something that, like, even if you see one dot, that can scare you. So he I think so I completely believe him, and I trust him the most. And um I kind of realize that everything is in your head. So if I just know that I don't have cancer now, so I don't need any more proof to. for
Okay.
that. And so my treatment, the whole transplant was a treatment that took place for almost 4 months. And since I went through chemo, and the transplant really made my body very weak, where I couldn't even take 4 steps because my body was so weak. And I remember losing 10 kilos because of the weakness. And during the transplant, I had so many side effects that I couldn't eat. Like I couldn't eat food directly for 10 days, and I had all the IVs given to me. So I think so slowly when I started recovering, I started becoming stronger. I think so that was enough for me to
Mm.
realize that okay, I don't have cancer anymore because my body, you can see the progress yourself that
Yeah.
I was not able to walk 4 steps, and now I can run. So I think so that all these small steps just made me realize that okay, I have conquered this. And uh, yeah, like, but again, I used to meet my doctors every week, and
The
oh,
follow-ups were
he
very
used to,
regular.
yes, and the follow-ups were regular. Fortunately, I didn't have any other side effect like fever or anything. And in case, I remember, in after like a month or two, I had fever, and that really gave me stress. That oh God, like what is this now? And I met my doctor, and I think so just seeing him and just him explaining it to me made a huge difference for me, because I used to blindly believe him, and if he's telling me something, I really used to rely a lot on his opinions. So uh, I think so that interaction used to always give me strength. So um, yes, like I think sometimes you are not able to explain how much someone can impact your mind. So I think so
Absolutely.
he is one person. By just looking at him, I feel very. I think I feel very protected.
Secure.
So yeah, I feel
Yeah.
very secure. So I think
Because
so.
he was the one who got he was the reason for so many things in your life, and
Correct.
you just have
Yes.
so much confidence in him. You have so much of reliability. There is someone I know for sure who has my back, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Wow. This is amazing. It's like you've conquered it twice, and it's like you've got a second life altogether, you know? And every day waking up with so much of positivity and gratitude, and wow, I can just your positivity is so strong. Like you're constantly smiling when you're talking to me, constantly, even when you're
I
explaining
think
things.
so. I think so. Now I have this problem of constantly smiling, where I smile even at serious things. So I think so. I should work on that.
Like that, nothing like that. You should always have that smile. It's beautiful. By the way. So, one last question. What is your message out there to everybody watching this video, to caregivers, to patients, to everybody watching this video, basically? After going through what you went through, words of wisdom, lessons to be
Hmm.
learned, it was kind of a crisis, I know, yes, at a certain point in your life, and you were so young when you went through it. So, as a young personality, we need to know, yes.
So there's one quote that I always used to repeat is I have cancer, but cancer will never have me and will never
Right.
get anything out of me. So I used to always repeat that, and whenever I used to go for my treatment or chemotherapy, or if things were going downhill, I used to always remind me that I am stronger, and I am going to defeat cancer, and this too shall pass. So I think so. Everything is here. Uh, if you are strong, if you make if you just train your mind that you are going to conquer this, and if you plan for future according to it, I think so. Nothing like it. So I always wanted to be a part of feature films, and I always used to think that okay, after this, I will be uh, sending my resumes to production houses, and then I will be working on set and how things will be. And uh, that I used to always imagine all these scenarios where I am all right and how my life will be. And that's how I started taking steps towards it. And um, I think so. That's my only, like, that's how it 100% worked for me. I think so.
Wow.
Nothing else, just your mind.
We're talking
So
about the
yeah.
power of perception, the power of manifestation. Manifest your life in your head and work towards that goal, keeping in mind, oh, that's the prize, right?
Again, and yes, and to add to that, I will also say that little bit of spirituality also helped me. Like, I am a huge devotee of Ganpati, so I always used to have a few prayers, a few songs related to Ganpati in my head. And uh, so I will say it's combination of spirituality and mind, and your family and friends. So
With the help of the doctors and nurses and all,
yeah,
it's an entire team effort that is
yes,
put on this one person who is going through what they're going through. And
yes,
here you are
sorry.
saying your story. Here you are with us, today, telling everybody what you went through. And with not just saying it out there, but helping us realize what you would have gone through, taking us down that journey, right? Not everybody is lucky as, you. And there are people out there grappling with this, thinking that, no, my life has come to an end. How
Hmm.
I go forward? So, according to
Yes,
you, you're saying everything is in the mind, the power of the
yes,
mind in combination with medicine, right?
yes,
That is exactly what we are trying to put out there. The power of what we can do, having the right attitude, having the right willpower, right?
correct. And again, people also, like, your surrounding plays a very important role. So I was very, very lucky in that department for sure. That
Yeah.
my like my friends and my family always stood by me. They always told me that this is right, this is wrong. Because there were times even I was irritated and I used to get angry, but um, they kind of made sure that I put my mind in place and not think about negativity, and only think about positive aspects. So yeah.
It's only human to be that way while going through such a situation, but yeah. So they were very understanding, is what you're trying to say. They were very
Yes.
supportive and understanding.
Mhm.
Wow, amazing support system out there. Amazing. Anyways, thank you so much, Ruchi. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here, talking to us, taking the time out to do this with us. I'm very sure that a lot of people are really baffled by your situation. Going through it twice is really not something small. And to everybody watching this, like, she is out here, she is a living example of, the fact that you can do it. It's not something that ends your life. No, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much on behalf of Zen Onco, on behalf of Love Heals Cancer. Thank you so much, Ruchi, for being with us here today, and keep on inspiring us all. Keep
Thank
on
you so
doing
much
what you
for
do.
having me.
Always a pleasure. Keep on doing what you do. Keep being yourself, and kudos to you. All the very best, Ruchi.